handmade earbuds, in case you didn't know, have had their beginnings as crowd-funded projects on Indiegogo especially, and some of which earned them a reputation of budget-friendly, good-sounding products with innovative design. So I have in my hands here a relatively new model called the Pamu Z1. And the question is, does it carry over the qualities of its predecessors? Well, the short answer is yes, yes, and yes. But hold up. It's not all bed of roses here because I did find some issues with this thing. So if you're the least bit curious, come join me and find out what's good and what's not with the Pamu Z1. Let's do it! Let's quickly dig into the specs of the Z1, and go ahead and use the quick jumps below if you just want to skip ahead, guys. $70 anyways in this case nabs you any one of these colors. There's white, gray, blue, which kind of looks like cyan to me, and black like this one. There's Bluetooth 5.2 on board with SBC and AAC only. Active noise cancellation, pass-through, and mono mode are also on board. There is no wear detection or multi-point in case you're wondering though. I averaged about 5.7 hours listening time with active noise cancellation on at 65% volume, and the buds weigh about 5.7 grams each. That's about the size of a US quarter, and are rated at IPX4 for water resistance, and that's good enough for sweats and splashes. Just don't get any funny ideas of taking these in a shower or the swimming pool. The charging case has a couple of interesting features, which I'll talk about in a second, but first I want to talk about build quality and plastics and all. Yes, it looks cheap, it looks almost like a toy, the gaps are huge and the plastics are shiny and it will show grease and, oil pretty easily, but at least it's pretty easy to clean and will be pretty robust against scratches. And yeah, the inside also is all shiny plastics and the lid doesn't lock, so that's unfortunate. At least the cavity is nice and shallow, easy to clean. Charging contacts are right there at the bottom, so it's really easy to reach with a Q-tip. And this really is large as well. It's to cater to the rather large-ish earbuds. It's similar in size to the Sony XM4s. But one thing you probably noticed, and here's one of the cool parts about the case, is the color belt line here is interchangeable. Actually, you can swap it out if you buy a case of different replaceable belts, and you just pop this off like that and you just pop it back in and it's all done. Another cool thing is this little transparent tab right at the end here where the Pamu logo lies. If you pop one of the earbuds back in the charge, this lights up. Look at that, it's pretty darn cool. I like that little touch, it's pretty unique. And believe it or not, besides USB-C charging, there is wireless charging at the back right here. Thankfully, unlike the case, the earbud seems to offer a slight bump in terms of build quality as well as material choices. There seems to be a slightly more matte outer casing, and the seam lines are nicely hidden by this nice contrasting yellow versus the black, and the grip, thanks to the size, is super awesome. And in the business end of things, there's a large 10mm polyethylene naphthalate driver in here, or Pen Plus to some of you guys, and a port sound to this really short sound channel that ends in an oval ear tip, and it's covered by mesh grill. And the ear tips themselves, not my favorite because they're oval as well and they're super stiff, so I'm not even going to try it on screen right here. There are two mics per side that handles phone calls and active noise cancellation, and the sweet spot for touch controls is right towards the top right here, and it accepts single, double taps as well as hold commands. And now let's find out how these do with the shake test. I'm going to keep the lid open because it doesn't lock, and yeah, that just popped right out. So thumbs down to that. This came out of nowhere, guys. I wasn't expecting it. The Pamu app is actually pretty well thought out. Even the boot up sequence that you see right here is cool, and I'm purposefully running it on a repeat because if you blink, you'll miss it, and that's how much I wanted to show it to you. But anyways, here we are at the home screen. They managed to cram a lot into one screen, even settings and advanced settings. And on my smaller real estate on my Pixel 6, I just had to scroll up once to show the last line, and that's about it. Battery levels are up at the top. You can see a slight disparity between the left and right side, and that's only because I've been filming more with the left earbud. You can also set how the ANC button or buttons behave here, right in the middle. And towards the bottom under personal settings is where you can customize your controls. The only thing missing is a multi-band EQ, and instead what we have is 3 presets. Pop is right here in the middle. Pop is default, and then there's natural and as well as jazz. Something also you don't see very often is 2 gaming or low latency modes right here under gaming mode. If you tap that, there's not much difference between the two, but with it off, latency is around 225 milliseconds, and in ultra mode, it drops down to an impressive 35 to 40 milliseconds. And since I've unboxed these a couple weeks ago, I've received maybe like 1 firmware update for what it's worth. Well, we're outside with the Z1s on doing the Bluetooth range test, and look how nice the sky is. But don't be deceived, it's bloody cold right now. It's like 17, 18 degrees, minus wind chill. I have some Machine Gun Kelly playing Emo Girl on Tidal, and it's playing on my Pixel 6, and I'm leaving it at the end of my deck, and we're gonna take the Z1s from the back of my house towards the side. Yo, they have Bluetooth 5.2, and we'll see when these things start getting signal issues. There's the phone over there, and where I'm standing, just for reference, is around 25 feet. How are you guys doing? Thank you for joining me today. It's a beautiful day out, aside from the cold and the wind. Oh my goodness, with wind chill, I think it's like more like 10 or 9 degrees. I'm already getting signal cutouts around 40, 41 feet. Man, it's pretty cold. My lips are starting to freeze up. Oh man, that's bitter. I just got a disconnect tone right around 52 feet. And by the way, speaking of tones, I like to talk about these kind of things for earbuds too, or all the stuff that I try to review. They have an interesting voice recording for these. When you power it on, it has this very obviously Chinese lady speaking in English, power on. And then when you turn on active noise cancellation and switch between the modes, oh, the music just resumed, which is nice. When it ANC on and such, that's an obviously Black American lady recorded. So it's pretty interesting and disjointed there. The fit of these, you can see it's kind of like the Sony 1000 XM3s, but more flush to the ears. They sit more flush, which is really nice. Let me try running on these, running around my yard here, and we'll see down the stairs and not try to die because it's really unstable here. They stay put. These are perfect for running. They're light enough. They don't hold back wind very well. I'm running at speed right now, and wind is definitely getting through, so for what it's worth. Anyways, let's head to the front and test out the microphones on these and see how they do with noise suppression. We're heading down to the road right now, as we usually do. Here comes the last big truck. We're gonna see how these things handle noise suppression. But you can probably tell in the recording, well, hopefully anyway, that these things fall apart. The sound suppression algorithm just, I don't know what it's doing. My voice just disappears and crackles, and the background sounds as there's buzzing all around. So yeah, the mics are not doing too hot here, and you can probably hear the wind here too. How's that going for you? Yeah, it's not too good. So back to the drawing board, Pamu. You need to improve on this one to keep up with the competition. Now, I've seen a few reviews out there saying that these Z1s lack bass. I beg to differ. Because of all the earbuds I've tested this past year, the Pamus have bass that hit the lowest without messing with the mids too much, which is a minor miracle on itself. This is bass you can feel, guys, down in your throat, and if you can't, like those other reviewers, then you're probably deaf or need to get your ears checked or something. So in case you're wondering, the sound profile is tuned for the regular consumer, which means bass and highs take priority. Even though, interestingly, mids are still pretty good too. Like, for example, when I put on Addison Grace's Makes Me Sick. The slow melodic build of the harp in the beginning, which in lesser earbuds you can't hear it, but this thing picks it up. And then the percussion that gets louder and more rapid towards the next part of the song stays composed on these. And also not forgetting the acoustic guitar that's going on in the background, it's really tight on the Z1s. You know, I was genuinely worried when I took these out of the box for the first time, and then realized that they're about the same size as a pair of Sony WF-1000 XM3s. That is, of course, until I put them on and then let them settle for a few minutes. And then I noticed that one thing that these are, that the Sonys are less so of, is stable and also comfortable at the same time. It's large, sure, but thanks to its weight, about maybe 40% less than the XM3s, I can wear these easily for 2 to 3 hours straight. Unless, of course, I'm doing some kind of lighter workout, then it's a little bit less. My first negative is a weird one, I'll tell you what. The Z1 has this noticeable mid-range distortion, but here's the caveat, guys. It's intermittent, so it doesn't happen every single time, and it seems dependent on the song and the bitrate as well as the volume. For example, when I'm listening to the chorus of Alanis Morissette's Ironic, it causes this annoying buzz almost every other time. I really have a hard time putting my finger on what's causing it. Like, is it the tune or the driver or the song itself, or something loose in there, or does it not like me very much, or a combination of these factors? Ah yes, the phone call quality. As you heard in the mic test earlier, this thing is truly brutal. In quiet environments, it's barely passable, but your listeners will hate you if you use these out in the open. So Patmate, you need to head back to the drawing board on these things. And there's no way around it, guys. The case is chunky. Well, maybe they made it this way so that you can have a bigger canvas to show off your swappable colored belts or something, right? These Z1s, I'll tell you something, are a mixed bag, because on one hand, it sounds better than $70 ever should. The fit and comfort, above average. The active noise cancellation and passive seal, effective. And it also has a pretty good app. And not to mention, wireless charging, for crying out loud, at this price. But then you get to the phone call quality and the toy-like looking case. This could turn people off like almost immediately. But you know what? I'll tell you something. $70 for this is fantastic for those of you looking for a starter or cheap or burner earbud with good performance, a buttload of features, and really, if you don't care about the mic too much, then you're really good here. So with all that said, I'm giving the Pamu Z1 a GearUP score of 7.7 out of 10. And this is how I broke it down to get the final score. If you have any questions about it, feel free to comment down below. Well, that's it for today, guys, and thank you so much for watching this. If you like the stuff that I do and like today's episode, please subscribe to this channel and show your support. Tell your friends and family about it. And also visit my Patreon page if you like to see how you can be a Patreon supporter. Remember to thumbs up if you like this video and comment nicely down below. And remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world as well, because guess what? If you haven't noticed already, the world needs it more than ever. I love y'all very much. Please keep praying for the Ukrainians. Peace out. God bless.